welcome to the live. Let's see. We're gonna get started in just about a minute. Thank you so much for those of you who have popped on. Good to see you. Just click the like button. Let me know where it is that you're joining from. The comments, share. Those of you on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe, share the link. I get started in just about a minute. All right. Let's get started. Guys, guess what? This is my 10th episode. This is my 10th week here with you on Mind Matters, and it is an exciting time for me because it is an accomplishment in the sense that um, I've stuck it out for 10 weeks, even on days like, that I don't feel like doing it, or days like I'm so busy. I'm a little bit late today because the dynamics in my home has changed. So my husband just came home not too long ago. So I had to make sure that he got something to eat before I sat down here. So yeah, my whole dynamics has changed. So um, you know, even with things like that, put it till 8 o'clock. But here I am, episode 10, and the final one for this year. I'm gonna start again in January. So tonight, what I want to do is recap what it is that we have done for the past 9 weeks. All right. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Welcome to another episode of Mind Matters, where we will be discussing matters of the mind because the mind matters. I am Alta Marie Elvis, and I want to thank you so much for joining me on this mindset journey. As I said, we have covered a whole lot over the past 9 weeks as far as it relates to our mindset journey, our attitudes, and just some of the things that we have to do in order to have that success mindset, or the mindset for success. All right, so let's go. Let's start right back from the top, which is the first week we talked about the importance of having a good mindset, a positive mindset. And one of the reasons we have to have a positive mindset, or we have to work on our mindset, is the fact that it plays an important role in every single thing that we do. It plays an important role in your marriage. It plays an important role in your relationships. It plays an important role in your success, your mood, your health, your wealth. Anything that you do in your life, your mindset plays an important role in it. Your attitude, all of that. Mindset plays an important role. Hence, me starting this journey to success. Initially, I didn't realize that I had to change my mindset. I always thought I was this overly positive person, and persons used to be like, okay, you allow people to push you over, but that's because I was, I'm a positive person. I always try to see the good in people, but then when it comes on to myself, I am not so positive. I am harder on myself than I am on people. And, even with that, that's something we have to change, because we talked about us striving for perfection, being perfect, or trying to be perfect, or thinking that we're perfect. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good way for our minds to be. That's not a good place for our minds to be, because we have to realize that as humans, we make mistakes. As humans, we are going to fall short sometimes. And one of my good friends, Gia, I think she's on watching now, she always says, her and my good friend Linda, who they were on with us a few weeks ago, they always say it's better to get it done than to have it perfect. Because if you're waiting for perfection, it will never get done, or you'll procrastinate. Perfectionists are usually procrastinators. All right. So we have to have that positive mindset. Give me just 1 second. Wonderful. All right. So how do you know if you have a negative or a positive mindset? If you're going through something, if something pops up in your life that wasn't expected, and the initial thought that you have, that that is what tells whether or not you have a negative mindset or a positive mindset. If initially when something pops up and your initial thought is negative, you have a negative mindset. Or if it is that something positive pops up when you go through a trial, the initial thought, all right, that is your default mindset. And the majority of the times our default mindset is negative because, as I said last week, your brains it gravitates to the negative more than it does the positive. So you have to train your mind, you have to train your brain for it to give you that, for it to constantly be thinking about the good. If you don't do that, you're going to find yourself falling into that negativity, which is a place where we're trying to get out of. All right, so we also talked about myths, some of the myths that we have as it relates to the mind. The persons tend to not focus so much on the mind as they do with their bodies because it is a taboo in our society to some extent. Nobody wants to talk about being depressed. Nobody wants to talk about having mental illness or having mental brain drain or having where you're burnt out, because we always want people to feel as though we don't want to feel vulnerable. And that's one of the things that one of the myths that we spoke about, that vulnerability is weakness. It is not. When you're vulnerable and people see that you're vulnerable, and when I say vulnerable, I don't mean being taken advantage of. I mean you being able to show that you are not perfect. You find yourself having better relationships. All right. And then another myth that we looked at, I can't change the way I think. Who is in charge of your mind? No one but you. And if we couldn't change the way we think, the Bible wouldn't tell us to not conform to this world, to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. So our minds, our thoughts can change, our mindsets can change, our attitudes can change. And we get to attitudes because we did 3 weeks of that. So we have lots and lots of that to recap. All right, another one of the myths that we looked at is I am not negative, I am practical. When something happens or somebody throws an idea out there, I've been to meetings where anything new that comes on the table, anything new, any new idea that is thrown out, there's one particular person that used to just have, they wouldn't even let you finish saying what you have to say, and all the negative things come out. That's not going to work. We don't have enough money to do that. The people aren't going to go for that. And the positive wasn't even looked at. The whole, how are we going to get it done, wasn't looked at. All right, so you have to, yes, it's fine to be analytic and it's fine to be practical, but when your practicality is always negative, then you have a negative mindset, and that's something that would need to change. Another myth is that the mindset thing does not work. It works because what we think is who we are. What goes into our minds is how we act. And so if we think positive, if we allow good things to go in, if we allow positive things to go in, that's what's going to come out. So it works. And if you notice that negative people are usually bitter people. They're usually miserable people. So if you are positive, you hardly see a positive person who is unhappy or who is I wouldn't even say depressed, because I don't even want to go into that, because that's a touchy situation, and it's also a medical condition. So I'm not going to speak as though I'm a doctor or a psychiatrist or anything of that sort. I have a counseling degree, but not a psychiatrist or in the medical field. All right. So another myth that we talked about was that having a growth mindset means never giving up. Having a positive mindset means never giving up. It all depends. All right. Now, you don't want to be going through something constantly and say, okay, I'm not going to give up because I am positive and it's going to work. You're in a relationship, say, for example, you're in a relationship and the relationship has been going south for quite some time. You may be getting abused or, whether emotionally, physically, and you're just saying, okay, I'm not saying a marriage, I'm saying a relationship. And you're saying, okay, I'm going to stick it out because it's going to work. They're going to change. 10 years in and nothing changed. And you're there, oh, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to quit. It's going to change. There are times that you have to give up. There are times that you're going to have to quit. But you have to know when. You have to know what. And that all comes with your mindset. And then the last one, the last myth that we looked at, and I didn't look at all, just running through a few of the ones that kind of stood out for me, is that adversity is always a bad thing. When persons go through trials, when persons go through challenges, they look at it in a negative light. And let me not even say we, because when we're going through something that is not, that makes us uncomfortable, then the first thing that you're going to do is think about it in the negative light. Oh, why it had to be me? Why do I have to go through this? But adversity and challenges are what helps us. They help us to grow. All right. They help us to grow. If you're constantly comfortable, you're never going to grow. You're never going to change. You're never going to see the need to change. But these things push us. They push us to change. The Bible says, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, because the testing of your faith produces perseverance. So it is there for a reason. It's there for a purpose. Your trials are there for a purpose. And that is for you to have perseverance and to test your faith. All right, then we looked at the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. And, you have to know which one of these you have, whether you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. If you have a fixed mindset, that means that you are stuck basically in your ways. You're one of those people who think, okay, this is how I am, and nothing you could do could change it. But if you have a growth mindset, you're always looking for opportunities to grow, always looking for opportunities to change, always looking for the opportunity to become better. Yes, Crystal, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So whatever it is that you allow to get in, and whatever it is that you have in the most, or you put in the most, is what's going to come out. All right, so how do you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? And in that growth mindset, you are, constantly looking to grow. You're never the same, and you're never comfortable being the same. You're never comfortable without change. You accept change. You accept challenges. You don't hide behind anything. You don't run away from obstacles. When you see obstacles, you try to go ahead and fix those, or get around them or through them. Then we in order for us to change, we have to set goals. In order for us to accomplish anything, we have to set goals. And in going for our goals, we talked about the fact that we have to understand our why. Why is the reason that you are setting this goal? What are your reasons for trying to accomplish what it is that you're trying to accomplish? Is it because you want to ensure that your children are well taken care of? Is it that you have this is something that you always wanted when you were growing up? Is it something that you want to do to ensure that your marriage is good, and it continues to grow? So what is your why? Understand your why. Understand your reason for setting your goals. Then you have to also realize that your motivation and your willpower is not enough. Your mindset plays an important role in your goal setting and achieving those goals. And in order to achieve goals, you can't just set them and leave them there. You have to take action. And then we had Sophia on, and she gave us some awesome tips. And one of those tips was that you have to have SMART goals. And SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable. They're relevant or rewarding. And T is for time, bound, or trackable. You're able to, if you are not able to measure what it is that you're going after, if you're not able to measure your goal, then how do you know whether or not you've accomplished it? How do you know how far you've gotten? If you just put these broad goals out there, nothing specific, you're going to find yourself being frustrated. You're going to find yourself quitting. So you have to be specific with your goals. They have to be measurable. And those who are teachers would know this, because these are these are some of the things that these are how we write our objectives for our lessons. So, our objectives have to be SMART. So when we're writing these objectives for our students and we want them to accomplish a certain thing in our class, it's the same thing with us. When we want to accomplish something in our lives, we have to write objectives for our lives. We have to write goals for our lives. And a lot of teachers don't like to write lesson plans because, it takes time. It takes concentration to figure out what it is that you want a child to learn from this particular topic or this lesson that you're going to teach. You have the topic because it's in the curriculum. Now, what is it that you intend for the child to learn? Do you want them to just recall something? Do you want them to be able to apply it to their lives or to another topic? So you have to do the same thing with your life. What it is that you want to accomplish from your goals, you have to have SMART goals. And then we talked about who is in your circle, because in order to get to those goals, you're going to have to surround yourself with persons who are going to be able to push you to those goals. When you have the right people in your circle, and we're not saying, to cut your friends off or cut persons off in your life, but then you're supposed to have that circle of friends, that circle of persons who are there to ensure that you strive for your goals and you don't give up. Because sometimes you're so close, and because you're trying to do it by yourself, you give up when you don't realize that you're so close. But if you constantly have persons who are there to hold you accountable, to ensure that you're doing what it is that you're supposed to be doing, then it makes your life a whole lot easier. It makes accomplishing your goals a whole lot easier. All right, so you want to align yourself with people who can contribute to your growth, people who think and who dream like you, people who are also on a journey to success. Sorry. Or you want to be around persons who would stretch you, who would push you to think harder, to get out of your comfort zone. All right, because whoever you are around will rub off on you. So if you want to be a millionaire, you hang around millionaires. Find some millionaires. If you want to be a teacher, hang around teachers. If you want to be a pastor, hang around pastors. Whatever you want to be, whatever goal you're trying to accomplish, hang around persons who have already accomplished it or who are on their way to accomplishing it. Just a second. Whew, talking a whole lot. All right, so now we are on our attitude, because yes, you can have your friends, yes, you can set your goals, yes, you can try to change your mindset, but if you don't have the right attitude, then all that you're doing is for naught. All right, a dream without a positive attitude produces a daydreamer. A positive attitude without a dream produces a pleasant person who cannot progress. A dream a dream plus a positive attitude produces unlimited possibilities and potential. So can't have you don't want to have one without the other, because you're not going to be able to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish if you have a dream without the attitude, and you don't want to have the attitude without the dream. All right. Remember, your attitude is your choice. Nobody is in control of your attitude except you. How you react to someone is totally up to you. How you react to a circumstance, how you react to trials, how you react to somebody stepping on your toe is solely up to you. You know, I'm the principal of a school, and a lot of times students come to my office and you ask them, why is it that you did this? Oh, I did it because they did this to me. So they're reacting based on what the other child did. And then you know, I always tell them, you are in charge of yourself. No one forced you to hit, or nobody forced you to say the wrong thing. You control your mouth, you control your hands, you control your feet. And there's a saying that says, he who angers you controls you. What type of attitude do you have? It is your choice. When your attitude outdistances your ability, even the impossible becomes possible. So you have to have an attitude that, you know, your ability is one thing. Yes, you have persons who are smart and, you know, persons who are very well educated, but then they have a terrible attitude. Attitude takes you where you want to go. Not your ability, not your education, not your position, your attitude. There are a lot of persons who would have had positions, and they wouldn't have accomplished as much as somebody who came before them or after them who had the right attitude. And you don't, you know, a lot of times we have this, you know, we have an attitude, and as I said, you know, my children usually come in there and they blame somebody for the reason why they react. But you can't blame your attitude on somebody else. You can't blame it on your circumstances. You can't blame it on your upbringing, on your limitations, on your lack of talent, your limited money, your opportunity, how you look. A lot of people blame their attitude on how they look, and the fact that persons tease them when they were growing up. It's up to you how you deal with those. It's up to you the attitude that you have when it comes on to those things. There are persons who went through the same thing and they used it to boost them, to push them to a higher level because they had the right attitude. All right, so there's somebody out there with less talent than you, with less opportunity, with less money, less qualification than you, that is doing the exact same thing that you are wishing that you were doing, because you are blaming somebody for the attitude that you have. How do you know if you have a positive attitude? Are you believing in yourself? Do you believe that when you set your goals that you can achieve it? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe that you can get things done? Are you willing to see the good in others? Are you willing to see the best in others? Do you have the ability to see opportunity everywhere? These are some of the things you have to think about when you are checking whether or not you have a positive attitude. Are you able to focus on solution, or are you just focused on the problem? You have to focus. Yes, there are going to be problems, you know. Nobody's saying that no problems are, or if you have a good attitude, that problems aren't going to be there. That problems are going to be there. But are you going to focus on the problem, or are you focusing on a way to fix the problem? That determines your attitude, if you have a positive attitude or not. Negative people focus on the problem. Positive people focus on the solution to the problem. Do you have the desire to give? There's hardly ever a generous person who is negative. Persons who are giving and give freely are usually positive. Are you persistent? Do you stick with things? Do you give up easily? Persons who are positive are going to be persistent. They're going to persist. They're going to see the end result. And are you taking responsibility for your lives? That is one of the biggest things, being able to take responsibility. And that is one of the things, the first thing that we talked about when we talked about improving our attitude is to take responsibility for your attitude. You have to take responsibility. And that's where a lot of people have an issue, because we're so used to blaming things on others. We're so used to having somebody to fall back on. It's never your fault. But you have to be able to take responsibility. You also have to be able to evaluate your present attitude. What is it that I'm doing? Am I positive? Am I negative? Do I have a fixed mindset? Do I have a growth mindset? What is it that I need to change? Do I need to change anything? And then you have to you have to develop the desire to change. Do you want it? Do you want that change badly enough? You can't have change doing the same thing that you've been doing over and over again for the past 10 years. Change comes with doing something different. All right. Are you making the present moment your happiest moment? Are you living in the moment? Or are you complaining about what's happening without looking at what it is that you are, what your blessings that you have at the moment? Yes, you want to have a job where you're getting paid maybe, I don't know, $60,000 a year. But right now you're only getting maybe 10 or 20 or whatever it is. But because you are looking at where you want to be, you're not living in the moment. You're not appreciative of the fact that you actually have a job when so many persons have been laid off. You're not appreciative, you're not being thankful for your blessings. And we're going to get to that too. Gratitude. All right. Are you developing good habits? Your habits form you. If you're constantly doing whatever you're constantly doing, that's your habit. Are they good or are they bad? Are you finding ways to deal with your stress? Remember, I don't know if this one is going to this one that I'm going to say, if the Jamaicans are going to take it differently. Pressure burst pipe. All right. So when you're constantly building pressure up and you're not releasing that stress, not finding any way to release that stress, you become frustrated, you become snappy, you take things out on people, you become negative. So you have to find ways to deal with your stress. And you also have to find positive people to be around, which we talked about already. All right, so take action for your attitude. And in having a positive attitude, you have to have an attitude of gratitude. When you're grateful for what you already have, when you're grateful for, where life has you at the moment, when you're grateful for the small things, then you become happier. Your self-esteem increases. You become healthier. because your mind is not worried or constantly going as to, okay, all the stresses and all the things that aren't going right, because you're grateful. If you took a book and wrote all the things that you were grateful for, how many pages would you be able to fill? Let me see if I have any answers on Facebook. If you took a book and you started to write the things that you were grateful for, blessings that God has given you, how many pages would you be able to fill? I know I would be able to fill the entire book, because I know where God has brought me from. I know where, I know what life was like a few years ago and to where I am now. And I'm also grateful for where He's going to take me, because it's not just about what you have now, it's about being grateful with faith. Knowing that God takes care of you, knowing that He has your back, knowing that no matter what happens, He is in charge of your life. And when you have this attitude of gratitude, when you have Him as the center of your life, then the gratitude becomes so much easier. When you're sure that He's going to take care of you, gratitude is like nothing. Or should I say it's like everything, not nothing. So you have to have that. Gratitude is gratefulness with the right attitude. It's gratefulness with the right attitude. All right. So you want to ensure that each day you take the time to write the things that you're grateful for. Tell people in your life, in your lives, that you're grateful for them. Express your gratitude. Be consistent with being grateful, with your gratitude. Don't just do it one day. Okay, this morning you get up, oh, I'm so grateful for this, and I'm so grateful for life today, and then tomorrow, nothing. Be consistent, because that is how you create a habit. And you want to have a habit that creates that gratitude attitude. All right, that attitude of gratitude. You want to ensure that that is something that you make a part of your daily life. When you wake up in the morning, what are you grateful for? You're grateful for the fact that you woke up. So many persons are dying. So many persons are sick. So many persons lost family members. So many persons lost their jobs, lost children, lost possession. What are you grateful for? All right. And celebrate the small things. Don't wait until it's a big celebration to celebrate. Don't wait until there's a big event or a big accomplishment. Celebrate the small accomplishments, because that makes getting to the end a whole lot easier. It also makes you happier. All right. And it shows your gratitude, the fact that you appreciate the small things that are happening in your life. And for you, it may be small, but for somebody else, it may be big. Express your gratitude to people. Give them their flowers while they're alive. And meditate on gratitude. All right. When you meditate, get up in the morning, take some time, quiet time, and just think about the things that you're grateful for. Our minds are wired to run to the negative first. So even if you're having a good day and one thing happens in your day that is negative, that negative thing is going to take over your entire day if you allow it. Without the right attitude, without gratitude, without being consistent with doing this, that negative thing will take over, because that's just how our minds are wired. Look at any day that you have. Anytime that you would have had something negative happen to you, you were having the best day, and this one thing went out of place. And then all of a sudden, your good day is out the window. All right, so make it a habit to be grateful. You know, thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude. Gratitude is the completion of thankfulness. Thankfulness cannot consist merely of words. Gratitude is shown in acts, in your action. All right. So, in order to change your mindset and renew your thoughts and the way you think, we have to realize that God never intended for us to live according to the world system, and that we are supposed to have faith, because without it is impossible to please Him. He wants those who call on Him to believe in Him and trust Him, and He will reward those who diligently seek Him. Hebrews 11, verse 6. Change your mindset and change your circumstances, because your mind is powerful. Your mind is the most powerful thing that God has given you. And so when you start changing your mindset, changing your attitude, then you realize that your entire life changes. Everything in your life changes. All right, it has the power to bring life and to bring destruction, that mind of yours. Because everything starts with a thought. How you think determines how you live. How are you living? Are you living with the right attitude? Are you living with the right mindset? Because the right mindset will take you all the way to where you want to go. Thank you so much for viewing. Thank you for those of you who have been here for the past 10 weeks. I am so grateful for you. I am so grateful for those of you who have shared it, who have shared the episodes, who have shared the live. I am so grateful for those of you who comment, for those of you who share, for those of you who like, those of you who just tune in, just drop in, just to see my face, just to see what shirt I'm wearing today. Thank you so much for being a part of this mindset journey. Remember, change your mindset, change your lives. What's on your mind? Thank you, Gia. Can't leave without giving you a shout out. Thanks, Vito. Thanks for stopping in, Linda, Crystal, Dean, and my wonderful husband, Casey. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for giving me the room so that I can do my live. Thank you for being uncomfortable while I get this done. Thank you so much, guys. See you in January. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. And
know where I come from, you know. So I know where I go.